All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Stay at Home Open Mic presented by the Barbed Wire Open Mic Series. Today is Monday, July 27th, and we have once again another list of performers for you today. For those of you who are joining us and watching from YouTube, I want to welcome you and say hi. Let us know that you guys are listening. Obviously, we've had to replace live venues, live crowds. So I encourage you guys to give us some of that feedback that we might not be able to get from a live crowd. Back in the day, I would say, like, when I say hip, you say hop. When I say, everybody give me a yo, and obviously can't do that. So, and it's awkward here. Like, everybody give me a thumbs up. Everybody click like. You can't really do that as well. It's kind of awkward. So on the YouTube stream, or if you guys are watching after the fact, it is, like I said, it's Monday, July 27th as of this recording. But if you guys are watching this in the future, hopefully the world still exists. But let us know where you're listening from. Say hi, drop a line. The best way to give feedback is in that chat. I have it open. I know most of the performers have that open. If you guys ever do want to join us in our Zoom meeting, that's right, you can join us as well. It's the same link. If you've seen the link to sign up, you can find the link there. I always post it. Come on in, be part of our live audience. That is, even if you don't want to perform, you can just kind of hang out. We have a couple people that have been doing that lately. We won't pressure you to sign up. Of course, I assume that maybe you're interested in performing in the future. We always welcome it. We welcome anyone, everyone. Just don't stay away from the hate speech and stuff. We won't allow that here. But with that said, my name is Richie. I'm the host. We're going to try and get everyone going on smoothly. In fact, we're going to start with music today. I like to start the day with music. It's always the best alarm instead of that annoying beeping. Start off with some music. So we have Christine Ponce Diaz in the house. And Christine is going to play some music for us today. So welcome, Christine. How are you?
Hi, Richie. Good. Thank you. How are you doing?
I am excellent. I kind of wish I could, despite what you see here, I am not outside. We have a beautiful backdrop of El Paso and Juarez behind me, but I am in my kitchen. It's a little hot. I wish I could be outside during this. Maybe I'll do one of these outside one of these days. But I am ready for some of your awesome music. So what do you have for us today?
Thank you so much. I have a song called Mil Pasos, and it's a song by an artist named Soha, and she's a French Algerian artist, and I just really loved this song this week. So I just wanted to learn it and share it this week.
All right, sounds good. Sounds great.
Sorry, the audio, I forgot.
I was about to say, yeah. So something we're still learning, guys, if you guys are watching, is how to get the best sound out of Zoom. We learned that with music, you kind of have to turn off some things, But we're getting there. We're getting there. And regardless, Christine's gonna shine through either way. So here we are.
Un paso me voy para siempre, un paso fuerte, un paso hacia adelante.
Musiquita.
Whoa, Christine, that was that was so amazing. I didn't want it to end in a way.
So, that's good.
So if you, I don't know if you turned your sound back on so we can hear your voice better, but tell us more about that song.
So, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So this song, she's a really wonderful. Her name is Soha, Soha. She's French Algerian, so the chorus is written in a mixture of French and Spanish, and all the verses are in Spanish. It's called Mil Pasos, and it's very poetic. The lyrics are beautiful. It's basically 1,000 steps is Mil Pasos, and she kind of goes through in both verses she goes through a total of siete pasos, and at every step, 7 steps, she explains the process of letting go of someone and forgiving and moving on and forgetting, and clearly she has not forgotten this person, but she's like trying to convince herself that she has in the song. But it's very beautiful the way she writes it, and there's certain things that she explains. Cuando volverás, that's kind of a little bit of a tender part in the song where she's asking, when are you going to come back? But then she says at the end of the chorus, never, never again. So she's admitting that, she's kind of in that process where you're like accepting that it's the end of something. And so that's what the song really is about. And I think one of my favorite verses or favorite lyrics in there is about tres pasos ya son hacia el este, el sur, o el oeste, but she never says el norte. So she's talking about like 3 steps and I made it to the east, the south, and the west, but she never talks about the north. And so I'm kind of wondering if maybe this person might have been like a north star for her, or maybe like that north on the compass, and now she's kind of like, I've been everywhere, and my north doesn't exist anymore, so I'm just going to keep going more steps.
Wow. Thanks for that explanation. Actually, so I just want to say that Christine, your presence electrifies this open mic every week when you are on. And how can people listening support your work? How can we hear more? I know you have a YouTube channel. Say it so we can all follow it right now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's Christine Ponce Diaz. And yeah, it's Ponce Diaz, Poncediaz. And it's at YouTube, or you can find me on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Yes. What a way to kick off the open mic. And of course, I encourage you to stick around. We've been having after parties for a good little while now. If you guys are watching on YouTube, join us after the show. As soon as we say bye, as soon as I do the peace sign and the stream ends, some of us hang out a little bit. We have some drinks. We talk about anything and everything. Sometimes it gets a little heated. Sometimes it gets just strays all over the place. But it's kind of cool in these times. And it's just a change of pace. It's also a bunch of diverse people hanging out, and talking about stuff. So I really appreciate it. Hey, Dan's in the house. We'll get him on in just a moment.
But actually, you'll have to give me an hour. I just got off the phone from my nephew. Today was his birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a bit behind, so you're gonna have to give me an hour. I apologize.
Sounds good, Dan. You weren't next, but
birthday. He just turned 13.
Happy birthday!
My nephew's birthday. So yeah. So well, therefore, I'm just gonna have to give me an hour. I'll let you know if I'm ready by chat. Okay.
Sure, man. Yeah, you're a little later on, but
Thank you.
Dan is always there to fill us in with the important announcements. Right, the birthdays, things going on. If you're not familiar, he's got his weekly video blog. We'll talk about it later on. All right, spoilers. That's later in the show. But we still have a bunch of people. We're gonna get into some poetry. I've really enjoyed. Honestly, I enjoy everyone's presence on the show. It adds so much flavor, and it's cool. Everyone has like their unique styles. And our next performer, something I really appreciate is how they translate the poems into English and Spanish and shares that as someone who grew up on the border, a little weaker on my Spanish. I'm still trying to get better. So I appreciate getting to hear the Spanish. Let's welcome once again to the show Lee MS. Lee, how you doing? Welcome. Good to have you.
Hey, good. Thank you. So I do have 3 poems, and actually one of them is a cover poem and translation in there.
Oh yeah.
So let me just put the virtual background just to select it in there. All right. So this one is called I Set Ablaze, Le Prendí Fuego, and it has the English and Spanish versions as well. Let me just move this to the side. Here we go. I set ablaze the staircase of my first memory, a spiral of self-doubt, vivid and always dancing in the back of my head when I hear my mother tongue, closely followed by a brown worn-down couch and a stuffed toy filled with hatred. I ignite the memory of a lock and key, lost long ago, perhaps at the hands of the one with the fingers running circles between my legs. Back then, I had felt the fires rising through my stomach, churning my insides, and I felt the heat arising through my throat. I spit out a storm right after, the familiar burning of shame crawling through my skin, hushed nothings of my worthlessness. I set ablaze my room, a canopy bed, ballerinas looking into my core while dancing on the walls. I learned to hide here, sometimes against my will, and I set up myself ablaze, the parts of who I was that I can no longer claim, hidden long ago behind closet doors. I fucked up oh so many times, learned to fix messes, with the skin of my fist grazing the walls, and biting back tears and words I never learned to let go of. From the ashes of my childhood, I hope to regrow into something, someone else. And then the Spanish version. Le prendí fuego a las escaleras de mi primera memoria. Una espiral de duda vívida y dándole vueltas a mi cabeza siempre que escucho mi lengua madre, seguida de un sillón café y viejo y un peluche lleno de odio. Encendí la memoria de un candado y sus llaves, perdidos hace mucho tiempo atrás, posiblemente las manos de aquel con los dedos acariciando mi entrepierna. En ese momento entonces sentí el nacer de las llamas escociendo mi estómago, agitando mis adentros y sentí el calor surgiendo de mi garganta. Escupí toda una tormenta momentos después, la quemazón familiar de la vergüenza reptándome la piel, susurrando en mi silencio lo poco que valía. Le prendí fuego a mi cuarto, las cortinas transparentes de una cama con dosel, bailarinas danzantes sobre mi pared, penetrando con sus miradas mis entrañas. Aprendí a esconderme aquí, a veces contra mi voluntad, y me ardí yo las partes de quien era que ya no puedo reclamar, escondidas hace ya mucho tiempo atrás del ropero. He echado a perder todo tantas veces, aprendido a arreglar el caos con la piel de mis puños contra paredes y escondiendo lágrimas, tragando palabras que nunca he dejado ir. De las cenizas de mi infancia espero crecer algo, alguien nuevo. So that's the first one. And let me start the second one second. So this one is one of the very few that I have that it's kind of like sci-fi-ish. So here it goes. A 4.3 millones de kilómetros buscas rastro alguno de quien fuiste. Ojos fijos en la oscuridad engullendo el azul que por años habías intentado dejar atrás. Estás solo, y ni la distancia ni el frío han logrado quebrantar el azul que aflige los sentidos. A 4.3 millones de kilómetros aún no logras encontrarte, y las dudas te hielan la sangre, cortando piel y liberando mares que llegan a los puertos de nadie. Estás solo, y ni la distancia ni toda esa nostalgia logra batir las aguas azules de lo que creíste haber dejado atrás. And then the English version. You search for who you were even at 4.3 million kilometers away. I set on the darkness that swallows the blue that for years you tried to outrun. You are alone, and neither the distance nor the cold have managed to disrupt that blue that distresses your senses. Even at 4.3 millions of kilometers away, you cannot find yourself, and the doubts freeze your blood, cutting your skin and releasing oceans that reach the shores of nothing and no one. You're alone, and neither the distance nor all this nostalgia has managed to defeat the blue waters of what you thought you had left behind. Ooh. And so, and today I bring it's a very small part of a cover poem. This is by Sonia, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering her name, Guiñanzaca. She's a queer Latina poet. And this is a small fraction of her book, and it's called America Runs on Immigrants. My mother works on the 23rd floor of a glass building in the middle of Times Square as a server of a catering company. My father rides the train home from work. In his backpack, he carries a pair of Timbs with blotches of oil. Neither of them have eaten. The thing about America is that migrant workers go days without properly eating so that America can function. My mother, who goes by Maggie, will stand for 8 hours straight, bouncing on the balls of her feet to catch any demands by white professionals that for some reason know how to work a Google Drive but have no idea how to make their own coffee. My father, who goes by Segundo, ironically is always first to cook, first to burn his hands, first to serve, first to deliver so the men in suits can get their rush lunch order. My mother and father never get days off or paid holidays, or bonuses, or a 401k, or healthcare. My mother and father depend on the power of Bix, hot tea, and prayers to la Virgen. And an official translation by me. Mi madre trabaja en el piso 23 de un edificio de vidrio en el centro del Times Square, como servidora de una empresa de catering. Mi padre viaja en el tren a casa desde el trabajo. En su mochila lleva un par de Timbs con manchas de aceite. Ninguno de ellos ha comido. Lo que pasa con Estados Unidos es que los trabajadores migrantes pasan días sin comer adecuadamente para que Estados Unidos pueda funcionar. Mi madre, que se hace llamar Maggie, se parará 8 horas seguidas rebotando en la punta de sus pies para satisfacer cualquier demanda de los profesionales blancos que, por alguna razón, saben cómo funciona una memoria externa en Google, pero no tienen idea de cómo hacer su propio café. Mi padre, que se hace llamar Segundo, irónicamente, siempre es el primero en cocinar, primero en quemarse las manos, primero en servir, primero en entregar para que los hombres en trajes puedan obtener su orden de comida en punto durante la hora pico. Mi madre y mi padre nunca tienen días libres o vacaciones pagadas o bonos o un 401k o atención médica. Mi madre y mi padre dependen del poder de VIX, té caliente y oraciones a la Virgen.
Yeah. Thank you. And also, yeah, feel free to unmute, guys, to clap it up, snap it up. We have Lee MS, and of course, as you guys can see on the screen there, you have places where you can donate if you feel like throwing a little cash, a little tip. There's our virtual tip jar. I encourage anyone performing today and in the future to leave that info. If you were really struck, you know, a little cash always helps. So Lee, really quick before we move on to the next performer, again, thanks for your pieces today. How can people follow and support you?
You can follow me on Instagram as cadáveres-literarios, and you'll see it on my cover. And you can also follow me on Facebook as Lee Martinez Soto. I do have some of you already there.
Yes, awesome. I love the little communities that are being formed in these online mics. As I might have mentioned before, there's a bunch of other things going on. You know, I'll give a shout out to Neo-Rican Poets Cafe. They've been doing it, you know, for such a long time, an institution. I know some of us have been going and signing up, performing there. They have open mics on Mondays and Thursdays, so definitely encourage you guys to check those out. They get really packed, really popular, so I encourage you guys to sign up early for that, like a whole 24 hours before, because it does fill up. I know on Wednesdays there's also in Spokane, Washington, they have the Broken Mic, so check those out. And if there's anything else that you guys know of, let you know, put it in the chat, let us know. Lee MS, thank you. And also if you can type your info in the chat there, we'll share that. We are going to continue with the open mic, and something we don't get a whole lot of in these shows is comedy, but we have a returning comic. Always great to have him joining in from Austin. We have Agabar in the house. Agabar, how you doing today? Welcome.
Hey, what's up? I'm doing good. How y'all doing out there?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good. I said, how y'all doing out there?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. You're not about to have me sit up online doing an open mic and have me freeze up. I got to get warmed up. You know how it is at the church when the preacher man hype up the audience. You know, he can't preach if the audience is all still. So that's how I feel tonight. So y'all loosen up. One thing, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I like telling one-liners. Now, all these one-liners, most of them they're not going to hit, okay? Because it's fresh, straight from my dome. My dome is kind of small too, so, you know, I cut my hair out, but who cares? So like I said, a lot of them are not going to hit because they're one-liners, but Who gives a crap? It's an open mic. But anyway, we still have to be professional. Anyway, guys, I am a out of the box comic because being in the box is kind of hard for me to get my rocks off. Now I'm gonna try to keep the curse words out. It could get a little bit ugly, but I'm gonna try to, you know, make it a little bit more clean, rated PG-13. But I like my black chicks. Hell yeah, I like black chicks, especially the ones with the long nails. But I always ask myself, how do they wipe their ass with those long nails? I don't even know why I'm sitting down, because I am a stand-up comedian. Oh boy, we're gonna have some fun. Anyway, guys, I filed a complaint. I sure did, against Instagram, because they did not send my gram of coke in an instant. If God, whatever God you serve, Islam, Christianity, Buddha, did not intend for us to eat ass, and I'm gonna say it again, ass, then why do it sit between two buns? Oh snap, this is fun. Oh boy, I feel like a runaway slave. I've been quarantined for days, man. I got, you know, I'm getting out of my shirt, you know. Anyway, I filed a complaint. Yes, I did. I was feeling good, you know, with Credit Karma. No, I ran my credit with Credit Karma. They sent me an email and said that karma has reached my ass. My credit was that bad. I recently gave my life to Christ because, okay, that one bombed. I don't know, I have to go to the next one. My girl, she always wanted to have sex with a jet pilot. So one day I went in the closet and I put on an O2 oxygen mask.
He's usually out early.
And I made out with her ass. How y'all doing? Y'all still with me?
Yeah, we're here.
We're here.
We're still here with you.
Okay. I'm gonna hit you up. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. Growing up in California, I was always dealing drugs. Yes, I did. I would hide the crack. Yeah, me. In my ass to hide it away from the police. So you see, I was always dealing with a shitty ass hand. Now I'm not against sexes, but I tried some wild stuff. Look it up, Centaur. One time I dislocated my hip having sex with a centaur. I'm gonna let that one marinate.
Yeah.
When I have sex, guys, I'm already protected. Who needs a condom? Because I have an inch worth of foreskin. I'm already protected. First time I made out with my girl, she called me meathead. I told you I'm gonna wake y'all up. Don't act like y'all saved. Don't be trying to act like y'all all in the church and stuff like that, like y'all can't get loose. Some people don't want to laugh, but that's okay because you ugly. You so ugly that I'm ashamed to say bless you. No, let me back that one up. A person can be so ugly when they sneeze, I'm ashamed to say bless you. I'm not gonna bless you. You look too ugly. Some people are just ugly though, with ugly attitudes. You can be so ugly when you go outside, your shadow hides from you. Yeah, you could be that ugly. Your shadow don't even want to overshadow your ugliness. Not y'all, I'm just talking about people in general. Guys, when I'm wearing my mask, it really shows me who I am because I'm always walking around saying, damn, who breath stink? Oh boy. All right. Let me tell you a little bit about my grandpa. My grandpa's still alive. He know I do comedy, so he told me to go ahead and crack some one-liners about him. Is that all right with y'all?
Yep.
Yep, rock and roll.
Good, good. Y'all still with me, right?
You're here, man. We're here.
Hell yeah, let's get this thing wind up. I called my grandpa and I asked him, I said, yo, grandpa, how you doing today? He said that he's doing good as frog hairs. My grandpa said that Budweiser does not make you any wiser. Bud does. My grandpa said that he got so high that he took a shit in a porter potty. Oh boy. My grandpa said that one time he smoked some good grass and he converted into being a vegan. But he relapsed eating my grandmother's ass. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm having fun with this one. When my grandpa was in AA, he said every time he had an urge to drink, he'd rather put his ass in a brown paper bag and take a crap. That's when he was in AA. My grandpa would relapse with his sponsor because they had something in common. They were both addicted to alcohol. Oh, I told you all my one-liners not going to hit, but let's keep it going. My grandpa got a sobriety coin every day because he was a night drinker. My grandpa, he worked good with his hands. Yes, he did. He was a professional panhandler. When my grandpa was drunk, he hung on the corner and shit, and he thought he was singing backup for BB King's. He always had the blues. Oh boy. My grandpa chews grizzly skull while wearing a mask. My grandpa tried to give me some encouraging words. He said, it's never too late to go back to school. I said, is that right? He said, because he's going to school for his GED at 60 years old. That's my grandpa. I can talk about my grandpa, not y'all, okay? I'm talking about my grandpa, not your grandpa. My grandpa said the only thing that he misses in jail is commissary. He said he still licks the honey off his honey buns. Oh boy, I'm getting these all fresh off.
Agabar, what's up, man? Thank you, man.
All right, that's the time.
Yeah, really quick though, tell us how we can follow your work. Tell us about your podcast. How can we support your comedy?
Okay, Comic Conversations on Facebook. Me and my boy Thomas Siska, we do a podcast and we just started it back up here in Austin, Texas. So if you tune in, I believe it's August the 6th at 9:30 Austin time, we'll be back having our podcast, and we'll be inviting local comics over to my house, and we'll be having some great conversations on different topics, and also we'll be having like a in-house fried chicken open mic with just local comics. So if you tune in, you'll see different comics here at my house that lives in the Austin area. You can catch me also. I just have Agabar _designs. That's my Instagram. I put up my work because I'm also a barber, and I do a barber / cosmetologist. So I've been doing a lot of women's hair. You can see me doing some roller sets and things like that for all you ladies out there. That's Agabar _designs. Agabar is AGABAR and _design. So yeah, that one. And then also my Facebook is just Agabar Bradley. that's just like my personal Facebook. But yeah, the main one is Common Conversation, Facebook, and Instagram, Agabar_designs.
Right on, Agabar. Thanks for joining us, man. Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Joining us again, and you know, a shout out to the chat. Sandy is leaving a comment here. She thought you were hilarious.
Oh, thank you.
Comments.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. We have Samuel Wilson, Dr. A, Nico, Manuel Martinez. We have oh yeah, Nika. I think that's who that is. Yeah, so say hi in the chat. We're gonna go ahead and continue though, and of course on the chat, tell us, you know, give support for each performer. We do have some music. We have someone who, when we first started out weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks ago, some music from Shift a Car. We got the full band in the house. Shift a Car is back. Let's see. Are you here with us? Let's get you on. Let's unmute you. There you go.
Can you introduce us?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Hey, what's up, dude? It's been a while. This is the whole band. So that's Andy, our new bassist, and that's Luis, our lead synth. We're gonna be playing 2 songs for you, so please don't boo us. All right.
Yeah. I was gonna suggest. I don't know what you're recording on, but there's an option to disable the noise suppression. Try that.
To enable something else,
Original sound?
I guess.
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah, you're good.
Is that any better?
Yes, definitely. It's more full. The
Yeah.
sound's more full.
It does sound way better.
All right, cool.
Dope. Yo, shift a car. It's good. Nice to meet the band. I'm glad you guys played today. And I'm glad we figured out that noise thing. So yeah, when you turn on the original sound, it was more full. Are you guys gonna be playing more? Are you still doing hybrid shows? Tell us really quick where we can follow your work.
We'll show again on August 11th, and then we'll be on the New Weekend on Thursday. Andy might not be there in person, but
I will.
Oh, okay. So he will. The whole band will be there, and we probably won't do the shitty sound again the first time. Yeah.
Well, it's good sound. It's really awesome getting to hear you guys. I definitely missed it, that goth sound. And honestly, I can't wait to the day when we get back to live shows so I can go catch you in person.
Yeah, definitely. We might ask you to perform that one. So
It's better in person, bro.
so thanks a lot, and have a good night.
Awesome. Thank you. Once again, Shift a Car in the house. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down to perform. I miss it so much in person at live venues. So yeah, check out Shift a Car. Cool things in the work. Yes, but if you can, type in the chat where we can follow you. I think a lot of us already do from the past, but we have a lot of new people too, and we need them to get in your your Instagram, all that stuff, your social media, where we can hear your music and all that good stuff. And while we do that, we're gonna go ahead and continue with our open mic. I want to thank everyone who has tuned in. We have plenty more performers. We still have a couple more people signing up right now at this point, so I think we'll have a good night. But we have another regular, Donna Snyder, in the house. Donna, are you here with us? Let's see. I saw you right now. Let's get you unmuted. There you are. Yeah, let's unmute you. There you are.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, I was scrambling through my tablet here because I realized that what I had planned to read tonight, I had already read recently. So instead, I scrolled through my email and found this acceptance of 3 poems. How's that for cool, right? So I'm going to read from that. It's going to be published in Lummock's 2 different magazines, one about Bukowski and one just a regular anthology, I think in the fall or something. So cool. Thanks for letting me find these. Let's go, okay? I will fear you and lie about it. Stay here with me. Your life a forfeit for my desire. Feed me, tell me what I need to hear, but I still won't listen. I'll kiss your presence only when you are gone lonely and cold. And in the dark streets of my anger, I will fear you and lie about it, unable to offer a consoling hand. I lock the door, douse the light, lying silent until I hear your clumsy trip. And then I pounce, anger in my eyes, my ferocious aspect, a spiked helmet. I rub excreta in your face with an unlovely touch. Your sorrow's ugliness justifies this torment. The absence of compassion rips out my own heart. I remember when I wrote that, I was trying to write it from inside the mind of a man. So I don't know if that got confused in there somewhere, but it's going to be published. And this is the one that's going to be in the anthology about related to Bukowski in some way. And it's called For Bukowski and All the Dead Vatos. The needle scratches across vintage vinyl, a pen dragging across a blank page, mumbled oaths edged with the bite of the hard stuff and smoke. Self-pity, a blanket that has no edge, the recollections, the merciless taunts, castigations, the snide asides, cruelty pulled from the darkness like a bludgeon, hidden but never gone. In the dense shadow, he forces a breath. The sound so like her sigh inflames him. Outside, the gate slam arouses him from stupor, and he lurches up, remote control held like a weapon, ready to throw down, man, to confront death accompanied by some form of genius, like Mozart writing for his dead daddy. There's no one at the door but the desert's dry December wind. Across the street, boys bang the gong of midnight. Laughing girls hide from the darkness. Like toy rabbits, they dress in sequins and cloak themselves in velveteen. In the backyard, forgotten shadows tend to fire, sparks cascading from a broken chimney. A red and silver flare is passed from figure to figure, then snuffed between the coarse fingers of a crouching man. Inside the house, it's time to bow the head before the dirty glass. A white truth sears its message into the recesses of a dying brain, and he listens to the darkness as it resides into the past. Sunrise marking time there on the other side of town. Faceless women wait to throw his words into toilets with their morning dump. No booze or drugs or 16-year-old twins could erase the sorrow, but a defiant man sits in the black morning wondering which will come first, an open bar or an empty grave.
Yeah. Oh, snap. Some background music. I thought you were gonna start dropping some rhymes, Donna.
Yeah, right. I need to learn how to play that phone and make it play the rhythm I need. Oh, fuck, man, my page disappeared. Okay. I think this one is a little bit more upbeat. I just got excited seeing that that email of accepting those 3 poems. And so I said, yeah, that's what I'll read. I forgot they're kind of like dark. But doesn't that kind of go with the goth music? Well, where did it go? Here. Yeah, that comic earlier, he was like, is there an audience here? Is anybody listening? And I definitely identify with that.
We're here with you.
The Grackle's gifts. In my backyard, there's a grackle. His eyes quick. He finds gifts I don't realize I even need. Gives me his cocked head of attention. Sings love songs only my viejo knew. Back to keep his eye on me. Frustrated, he no longer has thumbs or fists, a facile tongue, and a bilingual brain. The grackle found another's ring with letters and a date. Now it's gone to pay the water bill. Indigo shards adhere to glass brick. Bends light, distort shadows both inside the house and out. My favorite sound is the harsh cry of a grackle. My favorite smell is the honest sweat of a worker. My favorite tastes are whiskey and sin on his breath, or the gush of sex memorialized on hands and thighs. My favorite gift is a lover who pays attention and gets it right. The one who pulls me into that other dimension where nothing exists but percussive sound, intimate sense, secrets muttered through clenched teeth into the back of my neck. A single black feather left outside my closed door again. Oh. Okay. I can pull the curtain now, I guess.
Awesome. We also appreciate you got your fan in the background. Your dog jumped up on the couch as soon as you started reading, and your dogs are just like, all right, we're gonna chill, be lulled away.
That's good to know. And the boxer's on always upstaged by kids or animals, just like W. Seafield said.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Donna, thank you. And also, since the point of this show is to showcase people's work, but also what everyone's doing, can you tell us about this week's Tumblewords project?
This Saturday is going to be so cool. So absolutely cool. The first, it will be the first in August, which is our historic anniversary, 25th anniversary. And it's going to be Leon de la Rosa y Carrillo, professor from Juarez, who is just like such a performer and visual artist and installation guy and tech head, amazing guy, founding member of the Frijoles Slam. And he came back to Juarito. So he's presenting a workshop. It'll be so great. 1 o'clock on this Zoom, and you can find the ID number and password on any post that relates to it. I've put them out on Twitter and different places on Facebook, and I don't think I can find it right now to put it in the chat here though.
Yeah, we'll get it on. But once again, Donna, thank you for all you do. We're happy to celebrate that anniversary in August. A lot more. We'll talk more about it as it happens. But and also speaking of Tumblewords, Leon de la Rosa, definitely check him out. He's super cool. As Donna mentioned, he is one of the founding members of Frijoles Slam. That was one of like the OG slam groups back in the day. I had the pleasure of getting to slam with them, won a couple of slams, and that thrust me into like the performance scene for sure. And Leon was such a huge part of that, along with Jen Sugart and Ray Ramos. So much respect to them. Since then we've tried slams, and we know what we're gonna keep going. Our next performer saved the Tumblewords last week, in fact, because we had to kind of think on your toes. A performer had to drop out. And we have Kit Wren. He did his workshop this past weekend, and he's got some stuff to share today. So, Kit, welcome back, man. Good to have you as always.
Yes, sir. Thank you for always having me. I think it's me and Dan with perfect attendance so far.
We have to give out awards.
Yeah, we don't have to. All right, give Dan both of the awards. I don't.
Thank you.
But yes, you're welcome. But yeah, I've hosted Tumblewords, which I've done before. I've been going to Tumblewords workshop since I was 12. It's kind of weird to think about. And our presenter had an accident of some sort, and we hope she's on the mend. But I was able to step in as our pinche hitter, and I think everyone got some good work out of it. And I'm going to start with them and then go into my stuff. So I want to read Berryman by W.S. Merwin. I will tell you what he told me in the years just after the war, as we then called the Second World War. Don't lose your arrogance yet, he said. You can do that when you're older. Lose it too soon, you may merely replace it with vanity. Just one time he suggested changing the usual order of saying words in a line of verse. Why point out a thing twice? He suggested I pray to the muse, get down on my knees and pray right there in the corner, and he said he meant it literally. It was in the days before the beard and the drink, but he was deep in tides of his own, through which he sailed chin sideways and head tilted like a tacking sloop. He was far older than the dates allowed for, much older than I was. He was in his 30s. He snapped down his nose with an accent I think he had affected in England. As for publishing, he advised me to paper my wall with rejection slips. His lips and the bones of his long fingers trembled with the vehemence of his views about poetry. He said the great presence that permitted everything and transmuted it in poetry was passion. Passion was genius, and he praised movement and invention. I had hardly begun to read. I asked, how can you ever be sure that what you write is really any good at all? And he said, you can't. You can't. You can never be sure. You die without knowing whether anything you wrote was any good. If you have to be sure, don't write. That is what John Berryman thought of things as relayed by W.S. Merwin. And yeah, I worry if I'm good or not, but I've learned to not ask, just keep doing it. So here are some things that I've been doing. Most of these are pretty recent vintage, but I'll tell you when to shout. The witness before the financial committee is not being helpful, but not in the typical way of an unhelpful witness. He is crying in big, gasping breaths, his shoulders rolling like a boxer's. He's apologizing. He doesn't understand the questions. Yes, that EOS loan, but that was he who went to a sketchy audition he found online and was so thankful that it wasn't a sex trap that he forgot that there are other kinds of traps. The contract was confusing, but the money and perks were clear enough, nice enough to preclude follow-up questions. He's sorry. He keeps saying that like it helps. There's snot all over the microphone, on the desk, dripping and spreading slowly. This was supposed to be a dry session to do with interest rate caps, something only a calculator could love. But now the committee is forced to consider questions concerning the nature of identity and reality itself. Some of them are no longer sure if they're congressmen. The chairman stealthily pulls out his driver's license and traces his finger across the letters of his name, mouthing along as though it is test material that he has not quite mastered.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, bro. Fuck yeah.
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you, Mika. All right, let me switch to gallery view so I can see y'all, because I can pay attention that way. I have more of a feeling of audience. There we go. There you all are.
There you go. So you can
Right,
see us watching you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. This is one that a new friend of ours, Jenna Fleeson, from based out of Las Vegas, really liked and asked me the backstory about, and it would kind of be defeating the purpose to tell you the backstory. So quit asking. Shakespeare did not write his plays. Let me rephrase that so I don't sound crazy. Shakespeare did not write his plays down. There must have been some private jotting, but it was private. No scripts were given to the king's men, because if there were scripts, then anyone could do these plays. And with copyright law still 200 years in the future, steps had to be taken against theft and the degradation of the Shakespeare business empire. Along that same line of thinking, I am scared that if I ever try to write about our friendship's curved and generous contours, they will disappear or get cheapened, coarsened, misunderstood, given in mass printings to middle schools for preteens to shout uncomprehendingly before their embarrassed parents. Loopy adaptations will send us to Munich, to Cairo, to Glens Falls, New York, never thinking of changing the mild Dallas drawls. And down on their luck academes, grasping for tenure or a place on an Amazon bookshelf, will see our shadows in every new trend, appoint us founders of every new school, make us parents of every new subgenre, find confirmation in us of the things they already wanted to talk about. And speaking of confirmation bias, conspiracies will arise, claiming that I am actually my own next door neighbor, or that you are the helpless patsy of a pointless cabal. So, as another poet must have said, screw it. Art promises a ticket to immortality. but it's more like a coupon for a tombstone. I see no reason to be cheap or to plan ahead. They'll learn nothing of us. I'll make absolutely sure of it. Okay, I'm seeing some complaints about lag. I think it's because my dad is watching Deep Space Nine in the other room. But I
It's
can't
all right,
tell
bro.
this.
The poems are good.
Yeah.
Still
I
loving
can't
it.
tell him to stop. Yeah. Okay. Well, everyone unmute real quick because we have some new shit.
New shit.
New shit.
Yes.
No shit.
Yes. We are keeping the torch alive.
Mierda nueva.
It's going international. Hell yes.
You're bad, Lee.
Okay.
You're bad.
This is this is not a response to our friend from Austin, Agabar, who we all heard from earlier tonight, but this is something I read on Saturday. And if you stick around for our after parties, you should stick around for our after parties. One of the running themes is I talk a lot of cash money shit about a couple people whose decisions I disagree with. I disagree with their decision to tell jokes in public. But I wrote this on Saturday, and I did try and flip it a bit. The comedians have renounced raunch and transphobia and hatred in general. They have seen their folly, they tell me. They credit me for their Damascene moment. They say sorry and thank you as if it is all one word. A chant for newly shaved Hare Krishnas. They have set up this event, the first of its kind post-pandemic, to prove their sincerity to me. One approaches the mic, and then another. They are all reading aloud from the same worn copy of Capitalism and Schizophrenia by Giles Deleuze. They pass the one copy between themselves as they all take their turn, exactly 7 minutes. It has a used tag from a college bookstore, University of Vermont. Go Catamounts. Their faces as they perform are intense. And as the others watch, they are rapt. One is taking notes. One by one, they approach me on the patio, eager and pleading like seminary students. Is this better? Are we better? Have we made up for our sins and our wayward lives? The truth is, I don't know. The truth is, I thought I would always have to fight them on this. The truth is, I liked to fight against them so much that I didn't give a thought to what victory would look like. The truth is, I confess to the one with the notebook. I haven't read very much theory. And I have one more short one if I haven't gone over time. Okay.
Do it.
And okay. Well, now I have to. This freaking thing loads. Okay, this is one. My mom has also been a regular on these, and it's kind of cool that this is the family business. And so this is a quick thing about that. My mother wants to share in the pride of our neighbor, but feels compelled to make small amendments. It's a fine tree, she says, but it's not a mesquite. Mesquites don't flower. And do you see these thorns? Your excellent mesquite is an even better acacia. It occurs to me that this is that thing that I am asked to produce on demand like a photo ID, a practical use for poetry, to correct affections without changing their vectors. Our love, like a contract, must be drawn with care and in terms as specific as possible. I am proud to call this the family business, an ancient, noble, and essential trade. To mark the place of the thorns and buds, to establish boundaries for the wandering shadows, and to match prisms to their suited lights. All right, thank you all so much.
Yeah, right on, man. Kit always coming through. I was gonna mention the perfect attendance awards, but but we'll wait it out just a little bit before we move on. Tell us how people watching right now in the chat, how can we follow you, support your work?
Let me see what we got. Instagram at Kit Ran Away. Twitter at Kit Talk Sports. It's supposed to be mostly about sports, but that's more of a hope than a rule. I'll follow in the footsteps of our friend Lee and say y'all can just look me up on Facebook, Kit Ren. It's pretty simple. There is one other Kit Ren in California, but he's like, I don't know anything about him. But yeah, thanks so much for like keeping these. I think it's cool y'all keep coming to these. I think it's cool that we're cross-pollinating with other open mics across the country. I don't know. This is really cool.
Yeah, I'm definitely a big fan. So first of all, cheers. Good to have you as always. And as he mentioned, we do have an after party after the live stream. So if you guys want to sit around and get some of that tea, you should. Know what I'm saying? So we're going to jump back into some music. In fact, it's I don't know. I really love this guy when he comes through. He has such a unique instrument. It's the handpan. Earlier, Agabar was talking about like the panhandling joke, and I was gonna like try and throw him in there, like, oh yeah, we got a handpan performer. And if you've never heard of that, you may have seen it. It's a unique flying saucer looking instrument, and it just sounds like peace. Like I don't know. I always encourage people to, when they hear the instrument, like just close your eyes and let it take you anywhere. You know, where does your imagination take you? So we have Jacob Myers in the house. Let's get you on the screen here. How you doing today, Jacob? We got you on.
Hello.
Hey.
What's up, Richie?
Cool, man. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
You got some music for us?
Yeah. I can never find that option to get the sound better that you're talking about.
Oh, you just have to yeah, like in your settings, you can enable original sound. Like you should be able to if you go to like your settings, your options or whatever. Are you on an iPad or a computer?
I'm on an Apple laptop, but it's my work app, and it won't let me do the new update. So I had to just go straight from the browser.
Oh, huh. Interesting. Oh, the browser. Okay, you might not have an option. Usually, it's on the like the top left-hand corner of the screen. But if not, we'll just work with what we can. Because honestly, well, the handpan doesn't have as much lower range, but just it will cut off some of the lower range.
Okay, so just before I start, one of my notes is dead right now. The guy who made this handpan, he's gonna give me a new one, but it was a glue issue. So basically, the way this looks, you know, it's like this, and then the other half is right here. So it's glued together, and the glue is like coming apart under one note. One of the notes just sounds dead. So it sucks, but the good thing is I get a new drum after having this for a little over a year. Let me try to put it down. Yeah, I'm like super laggy as well. But how does it sound, Richie?
I think it sounds kind of fine, but you can tell that once it gets a little too loud, the suppression kicks in. You could probably move away a little bit. In fact.
All right, let me move back a little. That sound better?
Yeah, man, go for it. Take us someplace unique. You know, take us somewhere cool. Yo.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Thanks, Jacob.
Thank you.
Do you so Nico here in the chat was typing how that looked really cool with the beat, and I was telling him that you produce stuff too, right? Do you
Yeah,
have that?
Actually, like once we had our lockdown start, I started making I was making a song a day. So I made over 30 songs, and I'm part of it's like a collective. They're mostly out of California. They're called the Understudies Crew. So there's one guy there, he's like I don't know, I send him all my beats, he sends them to rappers. We go from there. So I have a project. It'll come out. I don't know when it's gonna come out. He's doing the next step. I sent him all the stuff I made during quarantine time. Every song has handpan on it, one way or the other. It might be real subtle here and there, but it was like I sampled a lot of stuff, just like vocals talking about what's going on, and then added beats to it, added handpan. So the next step is adding the other vocalists, rappers, whatever.
That's really cool, man. Do you have anywhere where you post where we can listen to?
I actually have 3 different SoundCloud pages because I run out of room and then just keep putting all my beats up. I don't even know them right now offhand. One of these times I'll be more prepared with that.
I think I had access to one of them at one point where I liked it. So I'll look and see if I can find them, and I'll post them on our open mic pages so people can check them out.
All right. Yeah, like I know on my Facebook I'll post them here and there, but
yeah. Right on, yeah. So if you is there anywhere where we can follow you if anyone wants to just maybe be updated with all that stuff?
I think I'm more on Facebook than anything. If you want to find me on Facebook, my name Jacob Myers. I have everything, Instagram, all that, but I'm old, so Facebook's where I'm at. Unless you still use, if you're on MySpace, I'll be on MySpace, but not really.
What's your pager number, man? Do you still get down on the?
No,
okay.
I'm on Facebook.
What's your pager number? What?
I had a pager and it got jacked in waters one time when I was in high school.
Damn. All right. Hey, Jacob, thank you so much for joining us. I think everyone really appreciated the sound. And I know in the past we've collaborated and at open mics when they were in person. Jacob would play the handpan and I would get down on some poetry, maybe a little hip hop, some
beatbox.
Yeah, some beatboxing. It's harder to collaborate through Zoom musically, but a lot of people are interested in your stuff, so it's really cool. And I've always wanted to do a writing workshop where you just like play and people write. So
I'd love that. Actually, once I get this, well, I mean, whatever we can do, like safety wise, but I'm gonna get this new one from the same maker. Then I'm supposed to get another one, another pygmy. I remember you used to love the pygmy.
Yeah,
so
that was cool.
I'm getting another pygmy, so I can come in there with 2 and bring your poets. We'll do what we do.
Yeah, that'd be a really cool thing. So we'll put down the back burner for when the time is right for that to happen. Thanks once again, Jacob, for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, and it'd be great. We're gonna go ahead and continue on. I actually accidentally skipped someone on the list. I hate when I do that because sometimes I get so excited and I'm like, this is a connection right here. Let me make this connection. But we have joining us for the second week in a row from Los Angeles. We have Mr. Tesosomok in the house, and he wanted to share some videos today. So let's see if we're still gonna do that. Let's get you on here. Let's get you unmuted. Welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. So I saw that you had another performer do their pre-recorded stuff, and obviously it takes a lot of effort to try to get set up, and without a real sound guy and everything. So I have a couple of songs I've recorded in open mics. So I want to see if we're okay sharing that. I wanted to check with you, and then
I think you should be able to do that.
all right. So one of them is, the first song is titled 16 Bullets, and it is about our friend Can you guys see my screen?
Yes. When you shared the screen, did you click the options to optimize sound?
No, because this is sound coming from the computer.
Uh-huh.
So let's try it and then see what it sounds like. And then, because I think it picks up the sound from the computer, because it's playback from like YouTube.
All right, let's see how it goes.
Let's try it and then we can work backwards from then. Can you hear that?
I think so. Yeah, it's a little hard to hear.
Is it? Oh, I know how to fix it. How about that? When is America gonna pick up their terrorists? 16 bullets, get a face down. Thank you.
All right, Miss. Oh, that's awesome, man. That, if anything, you should link that in the chat, and we can see it. But we did have some issues, I think, with the YouTube video playing, and especially people watching live on YouTube can't hear it too well. So I was wondering, and maybe we can work on that for a future date, and maybe instead of the second video, if you have a piece, maybe you can share, because I think we can all hear that, and you have some really awesome writing too.
Yeah, no problem.
You're an amazing poet.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I guess I wasn't sure, like you have to tell when you're sharing to pick up the audio from the computer instead of your phone, because right now I think it's going out the phone, I think. But anyway, I appreciate the, at least the consideration. Let me see how I get back to.
Just stop screen sharing.
I did. I think I did.
Okay.
Oh, there
let's
we
get
go.
you.
Now you got me back.
All
All
right,
right,
go
so
ahead.
let's do this this piece. Let me pull it up here. Give me a second, and then we can work on some of that.
That's a cool background, by the way. When I first saw it, like in the thumbnail, I thought you were actually outside. I was like, it's still light outside over there. But it's a cool little loop you got going on there. Someone on the YouTube chat said it was a pretty psychedelic.
Yeah, it's actually there's actually this program that allows you to create these loops, and it's actually really simple, and it's actually really nifty. I really enjoy it. So let's. What do you guys feel like? Give me some kind of theme you guys are interested in.
Oof,
I
that's
have
hard.
all kinds of stuff.
Failing forward.
Failing forward, man. You really know how to. Well, let's do this one. This one is really failing forward. Well, is it? No, let me try another one. This one is too much failing. Let's see. All right, are we ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so this piece, there's a lot of discussion. I actually wrote this piece just so you guys get an idea. I wrote this back in '94 when we were talking about decolonizing. So we're like talking about maybe some 30 years later about decolonization, right? And so there's an article going around called "Decolonization is Not a Metaphor" by Eve Tuck and K. Wang Yang, and I had this piece, but I didn't have a really solid title at the time, and so I retitled it as "Decolonización is Not a Metaphor." So for translation, deassifying is not a metaphor. So we want to be sure to. So this starts with a quote. We want to clarify. We want to be sure to clarify that decolonization is not a metaphor. When to kill decolonization, it recenters whiteness, it resettles theory, it extends innocence to the settler, it entertains a settler future. Decolonize, a verb, and decolonization, a noun, cannot easily be grafted onto pre-existing discourses, frameworks, even if they are critical, even if they are anti-racist, and even if they are justice frameworks. So my piece begins. It is not enough that you and I have to teach community that we are more civilized, more adapted hygienically to the land, more adapted to the hypocritical oath of our colonizer, that we have always bathed before the face of poverty. We have been up with the cold concrete, alone with the Santa Ana Iron Maidens, amongst the morose and soul-destructive wash cells here on the artificial landscape. My epidermis is wanting shelter from your eugenic delusions, my fellow inhabitants. You have traveled, you have peeled away the white hood, and now we can deal with your schism, with your bell curve, with your broken bell curve. Our ancestors left with well-articulated demands for life, because it's not enough that we were born on the San Joaquin Valley by the gentle Sierra Madre slopes or the high Zapotec Sierras or the coastal lands where Xipetotec had lent his liberating path, born in the barrios of the Cumide, la desgraciada reina de los Tolinistlis, los pobres. Motilinea, Motilinea, we suffer on this landscape of incarnate dreams where our skin aches with the loss of Colorado, the loss of flat plains, the deep ravines of New Mexico, where our skin is scoured between black and white shades of tan called brown, stained by Arizona sun, dried by the Texas winds, and frozen by Montana cold, that our father laid track from east to west, the Miglampa to Istawa, crisscrossed these lands of ours, that our men and women, their faces weathered by cold and heat, picked the fruit and harvested the weed, while our children ate corn meant only for cattle. America has grown strong on our backs, but remains weak on the brims of all the main streets. We have erected civilization with community at the center in the valleys where life seemed impossible, where we were divided against each other through race, through economics, through spiritual rape, through cultural suicide, then through belief and labor, we're again united. It is not enough, Julio Cano, 12 dies because you feel your real estate is losing value, where you have equated homeowner associations with KKK, humanity with real estate, ecology with Jim Crow, nativism with race, isolation with success, armed security with serenity, and greed with Prop 187. It's not enough that a boy named Gus calls his big brother at midnight, November 9th, and says, "What's going to happen to our little sister?" We are good keepers of the land, of our communities, of our children. We keep our elders at home and ask them for their wisdom, honor them for the salvation they have brought. That we infuse this decaying city with life, with vision, with compassion, with hope, with salvation, with our powerful art that lives in our hearts, murals, cars, and beyond $3 billion mausoleums. When is it enough? I ask you, when? When will we accept that we will never be white enough, that we will never be sterile enough, that we will never be your kind of Americans? Because America is a big fucking continent. Please remind them, how many times must we burn the wagons before they understand?
Yes, yes, love it.
So, not much has changed, Richie.
We're still the fight continues, right? La lucha sigue.
Yep.
So really quick, yeah, man, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it, and you have to share that YouTube link, man. It looks like you were getting down there on that guitar.
That was the not so good song. We missed out on the good song, but I'll put the link on there, and then the other one too.
Yeah, we'll put the link on the chat, and I'll share it on our Facebook page as well. Definitely encourage everyone to check out his collection of poetry by Floricanto Press. It's Gashes, Poems and Pain from the Halls of Injustice. And you can find that on Amazon.
The book, but it's actually being hidden by the isn't that funny?
Oh yeah, I have the same problem when I bring my bottles out.
So I'm sharing these two songs. One is the last song we didn't get to hear was "Put Away Your White Gods." So enjoy.
Dig it. And lastly, can you tell us where people can follow you online?
Sure. I'm typing it on the chat. People can follow me at the stuff. Oh, I'm sending it privately to you, right? Let me send it to everybody.
Oh yeah. Important.
Yeah. And then also, I have a YouTube channel for my music. It's called the Brown Buffalo Blues Band. I'll send you guys the link to that.
All right, cool. We got to get those links on YouTube as well. People are asking, so I'll try and transfer those right now.
Sure.
Awesome. Hey, well, thanks for joining us. A second week in a row, and I guess since a lot of people are right now with us in the Zoom meeting and watching us on YouTube, next week's theme is going to be, well, I was kind of inspired while listening to Jacob play, and so the theme is hidden worlds. All right, hidden worlds, and that can, again, that could be interpreted in many different ways, and just tell us about a hidden world of yours. I think that'd be kind of a fun prompt, and see what you bring out. Yeah, I was showing the green screen troubles in the past when I have a bottle like this
Yeah.
disappears. Yeah, so it's empty. It's completely empty. Or you could drink the city up. You know, however you want to see it. All right, cool. Thank you again, Mr. Desosomok. And yeah, stick around. We got that after party. We're gonna keep going though. We have Mark Pumphrey in the house. He has some prose that he's going to share as well as a cover poem. So let's see, Mark. I saw you here right now. Let's get you unmuted. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay, let's get you on here. Okay. All right. Oh wait. There you are. There you are.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I write at Tumblewords once a week. I write mostly prose. The three pieces they're all short. I'm sharing tonight were all written this past Saturday in response to Kit's prompts. Kit was the leader of our Tumblewords program on Saturday. So here's what I came up with that day. Uh-oh. Okay, the first one is, I was 16 and the junior assistant scoutmaster of the Boy Scout troop in which I'd been a member for all of the 7 years since graduating from Cub Scouts at the age of 9. In addition to being the first gay Eagle Scout in our troop, I was a notorious perfectionist and taskmaster. Every knot had to be taut, tents had to be re-erected if misshapen, demerits were assigned if boys went missing into the woods without permission near the lake where we encamped each summer for a week. Our scoutmaster, a heroic type, had been killed recently at the age of 59 when the plane he was test piloting went down. The assistant scoutmaster, a family friend and relative by marriage, took over and was sinking in a mass of paperwork and regulations the Boy Scouts of America put on the shoulders of scoutmasters, and taking every step in his new role with complete caution. He'd left me in charge at the camp while he went into town for supplies. While he was gone, the scouts in my care begged me to let them go across the creek in canoes to a high embankment where a rope hung down over the water from a very high precipice. I'd been stung by accusations all week of being too strict, so I relented and led the troop down the path to the lake, crossing it with them and engaging fully in a couple of hours of rope swinging and dropping from a high point into the water with the other scouts. It never occurred to me that the activity was dangerous or ripe with peril. When we returned to the camp, the scouts all enthused about the adventure. The new scoutmaster greeted me with a face that was incredulous. He pulled me aside and then began with, "I would never have believed you could be so irresponsible." The anger rose in him as he spoke, certain that I had committed a heinous offense against society by risking the lives of a whole troop of Boy Scouts. I said nothing, but I begged to differ from that very moment. Yes, something could have happened to one or more of the boys, but that was true of most of the activities we explored at summer camp. The Scoutmaster's criticism stung, but I knew without a doubt that I'd given the Scouts an experience they would remember, while raising my capital in their eyes as a capable leader without fear of the imagined dangers of taking a risk. A boy alive to possibilities and adventure, a swinger of birches. The second piece is this. Yes, I'm shy, guilty, I admit it. Not as shy as my two cousins, girl and boy, who hid out in the kitchen, never daring to go into the living room when someone new came into the house, but shy nonetheless. Must be familial. Father's side, I'd say, since my mother loved to talk to complete strangers everywhere and at all times. So do I. Strangers are easier. I have no history with them. Why am I shy? I have thought about it for at least the last 60 years or so. Ironically, since I fancy myself to be a writer, I have trouble putting words together in conversation with other people. I have trouble thinking of anything to say, to initiate, to join, or to bow out of a conversation, or talk myself out of my first impulse, because first impressions are hard to break. Or so they say. In class, I balk at raising my hand and sounding stupid when I open my mouth to speak. No one understands my lateral thinking INFP personality jumping from one thing to the next rapid fire, just confusing everyone. Don't ever ask me to say a prayer in public. The words just won't come, or they come out as sing-song repetition. Thank you for this day. Thank you for our food. Thank you for everything. Amen. And then I duck out of the church before I'm caught by those who want to chat. It feels like an escape from something every time. I am easily intimidated by eloquent speakers, especially British ones. Please, God, oh, please don't make me follow that. I've become quite a good actor, acting confident about every word I speak. Don't believe it. Creative writing is a refuge in that it gives me a slow starter, the time to collect my thoughts, such as they are. Even then, under a deadline, my writing suffers from a bare bones of vocabulary, not a flower anywhere, just straight 100-word vocabulary thoughts spewed onto paper. Put it in rhyme, forget it. It leans to sparse prose, which some like, but others shrug upon hearing and think, what the hell is he talking about now? Next time I will write about why words are so important to me, when most of the time they just won't come. The last piece is, and I'm also going to do a cover poem, as Richie said. The last one of my writings is this. Sandra called me from Kentucky in 2005 when Steve died. I hadn't seen or heard from Sandra in 35 years. I hadn't seen Steve in longer than that. But Sandra remembered that Steve had been my obsession when we were friends in Carlisle between the ages of 4 and 9 years of age, and for many years after that. Actually, Sandra's friendship had predated Steve's. But unlike Steve, I hadn't thought much about Sandra since my family moved to another town when I was nearly 9. As college students, Sandra and I reconnected briefly in Somerset, where I lived and Sandra had relatives. We went to a movie. I chose a Disney animated film. Sandra got the message that I was not dating material, but it was good to see her. She'd gotten morbidly obese, yet she was still pretty. That's the last time I'd seen her before receiving her call 35 years later. She'd said on the phone, I figured they would not tell you he'd died, and I decided I needed to let you know. I drove the long way through Virginia and through the Appalachian Mountains to get to Carlisle in time for Steve's funeral. I got to Carlisle in time to look up Sandra, tracking down the apartment where she lived at the edge of town. Divorced from an abusive husband, she'd been a middle school teacher before retiring. She wasn't at home, but finally returned my call. She'd been caring for her mother, who was elderly and senile that day. We met downtown, and I could not convince her to go to the funeral with me. She wouldn't say why, but it was as if she did not feel welcome to go. She was still obese and pretty. I've written to Sandra a few times since then without hearing back from her. She finally did reply a few months later, recently. She told me her mother had died, as well as her older sister, Sally. Sandra's last words to me were, "This family tells so many lies." Steve stopped being my friend even before I left Carlisle at the age of 9. It took me 40 years to accept that fact. Now I must accept another hard fact. Sandra was the true friend from my early childhood who I abandoned. How different would her life have been if I'd been there for her? Thank you. And I want to read, this is a poem by Wei Lim Yip. It's called, Of Course, Deaths. Quiet gods, Enormous eyes of stone stare out, monoliths blasted unheard. What are years? We scale up bloodshot trails of the brain quietly. Whatever smoke, turbulent empyrean, and sickness and pulleys, and stretching of wings and blazing depths beyond. We know no distances, whitening blood trails alone. We know, we nod to the gods, quiet brides upon banks of the brain, waiting, waiting. No thudding of guns, clouds unfurl. Sunspots are perhaps necessary, and some tremors and screams, forest fires, and of course, death. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Good to have you. And of course, as we mentioned, tabor wordista, as Donna likes to say. Cool.
We're a family in that group as well.
Yeah, it's important to be close, and it's cool to see all these works being generated out of the workshops.
Exciting.
Cool. Did you do your cover one?
I did. That was.
I missed the transition. Sorry about that.
I'm sorry. I go sort of fast. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was a short little poem by an unknown poet. His name is Wai, W-A-I dash Lim Yip, and it's just a little book I picked up somewhere at a used bookstore, but I like it. Penny Whistle Press.
Cool. Right on. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go ahead. Keep it going, guys. Once again, welcome to Stay at Home Open Mic. Thanks for everyone who is on YouTube right now, checking everything out. Something I didn't mention earlier is that we are the Barbed Wire Open Mic series, essentially. We are an El Paso community classic. We've been around since 2007, and since then have provided a stage for many performers over the years. And recently we're not supported by any public funding at this point. In the past, we've had different grants, but this is all just kind of on my own, pretty much. And so, if you guys have some extra cash to donate, anything helps. Even just to cover the fees for the professional Zoom account to be able to run these meetings. And so my info is right there if you have anything you can donate. Even more so, if we have any grant writers in the house that are listening, let's link up and see if we can make something happen. I always suffer miserably from doing that. But of course, I encourage you guys to follow. If you can't donate or anything, just follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. All you have to do is look up the Barbed Wire Open Mic series, and you can just help out by sharing all our stuff. Maybe if you have a friend that writes or performs, like send them our way. But we're gonna go ahead and continue because someone who is really instrumental to us still being around. For the longest time, we've been supported by Border Census, and that wouldn't be possible without our next performer, Mr. Amit Ghosh. Amit is in the house. How are you doing today, Amit? Let's get you on the screen here.
How are you doing, Richie?
I'm okay. I'm great. I'm about to grab another beer. How are you?
All right. Just another day. Nothing changed. The virus keeps going and everything keeps being frozen.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. So thanks for organizing this, Richie. I think you are a true literary activist. Where is Richie now? Did he disappear?
Oh no, I'm here. I'm trying to respond to messages. Yeah, but thank you.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So it's tough to remain engaged and remain disciplined all through. I mean, not at least for me it is anyway. But you go through. Last week I signed up and didn't show up. I was tired and I actually fell asleep, if you believe this. But today I made sure I was here. Also wanted to talk about this project, Richie and I are coordinating, and I have been pretty bad at keeping up with it personally, but I think we'll catch up on that. The project called Life in the Time. And I'll put the URL here if people are still submitting work. And we are still accepting work, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. So feel free to submit your work if you feel like it. We're taking work in different forms, in poetry, stories, film, art, video, audio. So there are different options, right? Is that cool, Richie?
Yes, absolutely. I'm muted, so that's why I'm just here.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to read a couple of different things. I don't know. They kind of mishmash, and we'll see where it ends up. I've tried to put a narrative around it, so we'll see if that narrative actually makes sense. Okay, I'll start with this section called Cheesy Virus Poems. Cheesy Virus Poems. Whoever imagined a few months ago we would have to truly confront our ego. You can be from any country of this globe. COVID-19 has attacked you in droves. A beast of nature has released a virus more deadly than SARS, Ebola, or a sinus. In 5 months, more than a million people affected. Mathematics of geometric power has been inflicted. You can't see or smell or taste this thing. You have nothing to combat this very being. The only answer is to quarantine and isolate. Stay the fuck home, do little and vegetate. Lock down, shelter in place, and follow the ordinance. The virus has exerted its dominance. Hope you all are keeping safe. Please do not do anything and behave. You can get to the mirror and heartily laugh, then cry all you want for playing tough. Social distancing is the term of the year. We can all drink to that good cheer. And the second part of that is always walk out with a mask. That's absolutely needed. It's enough. In this incredulous time, insane. Hope you all are keeping sane. Keep the gun and the Valium away. They might come in life's way. Have a hearty drink and cheer. Books and TV can quell the fear. My beard looks like a lion's mane. I'm perfect for King Kong and Jane. Roads are empty and so are the lanes. No one to scream at, nothing to refrain. Just hunker down your mind's den. Let's begin to plan ideas to pen. When Corona goes away from here, we'll all drink Corona without any fear. So that's the cheesy virus poem. Cheesy virus poem. Okay, I'm going to read a little prose here. I hope most of us are aware that next Monday actually, will be 1 year anniversary of the shooting that happened in Walmart a year ago. And I don't know what the city is planning as a reflection, as a time to remember the folks who were assassinated, but that's what really happened, and those who were hurt. Given all this virus stuff, I don't know what's exactly being planned, but here is my little contribution to that. Notes from a sad day. It was a regular summer weekend, a warm Saturday morning. with floating clouds, and I was at the tennis club. We were at the restaurant having some coffee and burritos when the TV station aired the news of what had happened. As usual, there was confusion. A mass shooting had taken place at a Walmart, or was it multiple Walmarts? One killer over than many. After a lot of chatter, it became clear that around 23 people were gunned down in the Walmart by Cielo Vista by a single shooter. Peaceful El Paso's innocence was robbed. It'll always be a sad day in our history. Months later, I parked my car next to Hooters. The parking lot behind the movie theater, between the movie theater and the Walmart, full of cars. The narrow street was blocked off where a makeshift memorial was set up. There were carnations and sad candles and pictures of those assassinated. There were teddy bears, some laughter, and a lot of sobbing. The policemen stood around idly, watching the crowd. This is how El Pasoans wanted to remember what happened on August 3rd. The collective memory and a lot of love amongst the sadness. As I approached and walked around, I suddenly felt that I was being watched. Through the corner of my eye, I saw someone pointing at me. Who was he? It was a pretty blended in crowd, and I remembered the fellow looked like an ex-student with whom I had an altercation in class years ago. I moved away and tried to blend into the crowd, but an unsavory character suddenly showed up to the left of me and said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Here I was paying my respects, and then I confront somebody who feels my presence was unwelcome. Tolerance is wanting when you needed it most. The Walmart was a 24/7 store, and now it was closed for months, many months. Lots of speculation when would it open. Finally, in late fall, it opened with limited hours. The mofo killer stopped the night shopping. Walmart placed a memorial in the parking lot. I think of future generations when they will see the memorial and think of how the city was violated that day in August by a lily pure white boy who came to defend America from Hispanics in El Paso. Peter Caruthas. I asked my neighbor, "Do you know this guy? Have you heard of him?" We are standing in front of his front yard chatting. Is he a weatherman? They come here, these young, pretty boys and girls who stand in front of the green screen and act as weather folks before moving to larger markets where they make more money. Like they say, El Paso, the pass, just passing through. Peter Carnitas, he says? No, Peter Caruthers, barely 21, wore glasses and nerdy looking. He drove down from 600 miles east from Plano, Texas. Given his motivation, he would have driven 1,000 miles if he had to. He was a lone soldier defending America from a certain type of invaders. He was all about stopping the Hispanic invasion of Texas, Mexicans in El Paso. He needed to put a stop on that. He grew up in middle to upper class Plano, Texas, a suburb of Dallas, where there are big homes with leafy lawns, lots of BMW, Saabs, and Cadillacs in the driveways. Years ago, these areas were farmlands and more rural. Now, with the tech industry booming, it's morphing into a suburb with Asians, Indians, Latinos, and Blacks. Companies like Oracle, Google, Microsoft, along with the airlines, need skilled workers, and that's changing the area considerably. A multicultural suburban society was taking shape around Dallas, in most American suburbs, reflecting the changing reality. You would not know that if you listen, but you would not know that if you listen to talk radio or some internet chat groups. To look back at those days of 30, 40 years ago with misty eyes, when things were supposedly calm and quiet. More uniform is the lingo to mean lies diversity, more certainty in a familiar America. Now you have shopping malls with Thai restaurants and sushi places. Even the neighborhood Chinese restaurant owner would say ni hao to all the customers, trying to greet them in basic Chinese. And almost every plaza had a Mexican restaurant, and if you walked in, you could hear Spanish sailing in from the kitchen, floating in the air, and the markets, the specialty market, the Asian Latino market, the black market, the market that sold specialty goods from all over the world. America was slowly mixing and blending and changing into something to some people that seemed very unfamiliar, and there was a need to stop that. Peter grew up in this hood that was slowly changing. He felt powerless, but what was bothering him was the growing Latino influence. The influence of Spanish everywhere, the sounds, the music, the burrito shops, the meat market, it was all encroaching on him. They breed like rabbits floated in his head that he heard on the radio. When he saw Hispanic families in parks and stores, the American population was shrinking, not enough real Americans anymore. The tide was turning, and he was being swallowed by the black and the brown. He was battlefield ready when he arrived. His AR-15 was loaded as he drove west on the freeway. Like Lewis and Clark, that he reconquered the land, he wanted to stop the Hispanic invasion of Texas. All he wanted, like his grandparents, was a quaint, happy life. What he really loved and couldn't admit that he loved tacos and Doritos and flashing down with Dos Equis. We now know how the story all ended. It wasn't good for anyone. Thank you.
Right on, Amit. Thank you, man. You're right. We've got the 1 year anniversary of the shooting that happened in our hometown, and you know it was such a heavy thing. So thanks for those pieces. You reminded me. Some of our friends are releasing a music single on August 3rd.
Yeah, when are they doing it? Where are they doing it? Do you know?
Just online. Wait, you mean the release? Or didn't wait?
Yeah, the release.
So our noted historian and author David Romo has a band Glossolalia with a couple of other friends of ours, including Carlos Espinosa of Barrio Panther, and my band Endangered Language. They're going to release a single that Dr. Romo wrote, and it's based around his friend who was killed on that day. So
his friend was killed that day?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
So they have a song that's written after one of his pieces, and it's Cielo Vista means sky view. So I'll probably link it and share it on all our pages if you guys don't follow them. But
are they having an event by any chance?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now, it's kind of hard.
An online event, maybe. I'm not
right. Yeah, it's been such a weird year, so it did kind of sneak up on a lot of people. But anything that I do have, I'll share it. And if anything, I'll probably maybe even share the single next week. Oh, sorry, my cat's attacking my leg. Okay, that was weird. But thank you for sharing, Amit, and also shout out. We have, as I mentioned, we do have people just listening in, and I just want to give a shout out to Akshay, who's leaving some messages. He was telling us about a celebration on Monday as well. Raksha Bandhan. I probably butchered that, but yeah, it's a festival of brothers and sisters happening this Monday as well. So, if anything, it's important to approach life with that, as brothers and sisters. And all right, yeah, let's go. We have a couple more performers, so I should probably get them on. Getting super like introspective and sorry. I've been talking this whole time and I realized I had the video spotlighted on you, Amit. Anyway, it's nighttime here in El Paso, as you can see. Look at that.
Yep.
Beautiful view of the city. So next up we have Nico Kim. Nico is here. Coming from his grandmother's basement. Or sorry, his mother's basement. That's what he wrote on the chat. I'm sorry. So Nico, where are you? Oh no, don't do that. Sorry, my cat's wreaking havoc.
Hey guys. So I didn't know what I was gonna do today. I kind of just woke up and was like, what am I gonna speak about? And Richie was like failing forward. So I think I'm gonna go with a couple poems that go around that, I guess. So I'm gonna start with a cover poem, and it's my favorite poem. I've shared it before, but there's some new faces, so I'll share it again. Did you tackle that trouble that came your way with a resolute heart and cheerful? Or did you hide your face from the light of day with the craven soul or fearful? Oh, a trouble's a ton, or a trouble's an ounce, or a trouble is what you make it. It isn't the fact that you're hurt that counts, only how did you take it? So you're being to earth. Well, what's that? Come up with a smiling face. It's nothing against you to fall down flat, but to lie there, that's a disgrace. The harder your throne, the higher you bounce. Be proud of that blackened eye. It isn't the fact that you licked that counts, but how did you fight and why? So you're done to death. Well, what then? If you battled the best you could, if you played your part in the world of men, then the critic will call it good. Death comes with the crawl, or it comes with the pounce. Whether it's slow or spry, it isn't the fact that you're dead that counts, only how did you die? Yeah. Brat, that shit goes hard, bro. Anyway, so I didn't know what poem I was gonna start with, so I'll start with this fun poem because it's fun. The story starts with me keeling, fighting this feeling, this most far-fetched feeling to start peeling the ceiling. Why it was appealing to start peeling the ceiling was for this feeling that the stars were squealing. And when my ceiling started revealing the star-filled sky from peeling, I was wrong with the feeling that the stars were squealing. Instead, the stars were bells pealing. When the sky started stealing more of my ceiling, I had this new feeling, a justifiable feeling, to start sealing my ceiling. So then I began reeling in all that was. So I then began reeling in all that I was peeling and started concealing the stars that were bells pealing. When I completed sealing my ceiling, the silly old feeling that the stars were squealing was no longer my feeling. It's so silly. It's such a silly poem. That's such a fun poem, though. Like, there's a pretty deep message in it, but it's like not really, you know. So I wrote this when I was 25, and that's the name of this poem. When I was 25, I'm getting older, growing older every minute. Every minute moment and breath made, every blink and tick, notoriety ensues, and anxiety I choose to overthink the next blink and the effect for the ones forthcoming. Numbing out with solitude, this hollow dude howling at the monsters that linger. My fingers are getting harder to use. My knees less reliable. My eyesight slightly worse, my mind slightly more jaded. Optimism is for the youth. In truth, I tell you that I see the silver lining. I see the golden path, yet here I sit inhaling a dragging my toes in the carpet of complacency, sipping cheap beer, sitting under the umbrella of self-doubt. Damn, that's a nice ass path. This rain isn't letting up, but I can see the sun hiding behind that cloud, too proud to stand up and walk the path laid before me, too lazy to want to take the first step in the right direction. Damn this cigarette. It's getting wet and old, and it just doesn't taste like it used to. Damn this cheap beer. As I swallow it and watch my path be paved, damn this chair, but here I'll wallow until one day I make the decision to stand up and take that step. But damn those steps for leading the right way. The right day will come. But for now, I'll drink my lukewarm beer, smoke my cigarette butt, and complain I'm only getting older. Thanks, guys. So I have a podcast. That's pretty much my big thing. So, and I would love to see every single one of you guys here as followers on our podcast. We're pretty dope. I think we are. I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff from. It's pretty much an observation of social, societal, and observations. That's really it, like one liner. But it's called the Psyche, like the mind, Psyche-Delic podcast. And we're on Apple, Google, Spotify, and many other platforms. So check us out. I'm gonna leave the link right now. I hope I have a control feed. And boom, look at that. I do. I just linked it in the chat. But with that, yeah, guys, thanks for having me. I always love being here, and I'm happy you guys could I'm happy to see some new faces. Michael Sindler, I've seen you at the new, I think the Spokane one. I was hoping to see you perform, but I'm glad to see you here. Mr. Tazozomak, I don't see any longer. Oh, there he is, right there. Yes, sir. So glad to see you. I saw you at the New York, and I was like, he would be an awesome voice to be in BWOMS, and I'm glad you joined us. So with that, guys, thanks for letting me go on. Thanks for letting me go, Richie.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, thanks for joining us. I always do appreciate it when you go on. And yeah, check out the podcast. You beat me to it. I was waiting because I wasn't sure if you had like another piece. But yeah, check it out, Psychedelic Podcast. I'll link it on the YouTube chat for those of you guys who are on there. And yeah, check out Wednesdays is the Spoken Broken Mic. Check that out. I'll post them on our Barbed Wire pages as well. So our next performer needs to be summoned. I'm gonna invoke the classic Green Ranger. Our next performer is Dan the Man. Dan, are you here with us?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you.
All right.
How's everybody doing tonight? By the way, Ahmed, thank you so much. I was so thoughtful of you making this a dedication about a year ago. Thank you, Ahmed. Appreciate it. And very nice performance, Nico, and the rest. Thank you. Okay. Prologue. I'm sorry, prologue. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, I know that today is my nephew's birthday. I just got off the phone. Well, since the BWOMS started, I just got off the phone wishing him a happy birthday, and now he's 13. Well, yeah, because remember he was a shortbread, and then he was a small fry, then he was just an ordinary kid. Now he's 13. Time has been flying by. I just wrote a little poetry for Joseph. You guys gonna like this one. It's called Joseph Daniel, 13 years later. Yep. My nephew, born in the Sun City, far west of the Lone Star State, now raised in the Orange/Lake County, central of the Sunshine State. Yeah, we used to call him Little Joseph when he was short in bread. Yeah, like mama's little baby, short in bread. Yeah. Well, we started to call him Joseph when he was 2, and then 3, and he was a toddler, then became a small fry and an ordinary kid. Man, time was flying by. and now he just become a teenager. And now 13 and his teen. Man, I'm sort of in tears. Time was flying by. Um, yeah, after all these years. And according to Vanessa Williams, oh, how the years go by. You know the song? Yeah. Love you, Joseph, from your Uncle Daniel. All right, thank you. All right, how is it?
Órale.
Thanks. Okay. Now, my next one, I know next Monday will be the anniversary of this tragedy. Yeah, that we didn't see it coming. That day I was still at home. I was getting ready to prepare for another regular blog, and I didn't get a chance to wish Joe Verona a happy birthday. Yeah, but then it was put on hold, and then that's where we saw this sadness, this unforgettable day that we will never forget. And then the next day, and that's where I was expressing the sorrow of what happened that day. Yeah. So, and now last I heard, it was originally 22, but now just last April it was 23. Now we've lost 23 of our people, our neighbors. I never met them. Oh. Okay. Okay, here it is. It's called August 3rd, 2019, part 1, the prologue. It's almost a year. The anniversary is near. I thought that day, last year, it was an ordinary day, but that year, it never turned out to be a tragic day. And that last year, that day, our hometown was in fear. 22 down. Well, that's what we heard from. But then we lost 22. Well, it was originally 22, but just a couple of months ago, it was confirmed 23. Now 23 down. Yeah. We lost 23 people. Though I never met those people, but they were El Paso's people. They were our neighbors. They were our people. It was the day we never saw this coming. All of a sudden, we will never forget this fateful day. I said that before El Paso. I said that about Orlando. I said about Las Vegas. I said about Columbine. I said about, among other cities. That's how they didn't see that coming. We and everybody else, we have never forgotten those fateful days. Those days forever shaped the nation in mysterious ways, as sorrow, condolences, mourns, and griefs silently phase. Don't call my city a town without pity. Trust me, it's not pretty. We just mourn our city. 23 lives were lost in our city. And I don't want to listen. And right now, I don't want to listen to Glenn Fry's You Belong to the City. Anybody know the song You Belong to the City by Glenn Fry? Well, how come, how long, how wrong, how we listen to a sad song? We can't be wrong. We gotta stay strong. We gotta be strong. Stay strong. Always El Paso strong. All right, end quote. How was it, Richie?
Yeah, man. El Paso strong.
Thank you. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Yeah.
Plug your vlog, man.
Yeah, because Yeah, I'm gonna do my regular blog on. It will be on Monday before. It'll hopefully get it uploaded before we start yet another BWOMS, and I will have part 2 epic blog. I will record this and I'll have it on sometime next. And I'll have this Scenes of My Poetry Slam next week. And so this will be sometime this week, especially the one from last week. I didn't get a chance to post that one, but I'll do that. So, and yeah, I'll never forget next Monday. I'll never forget that sad moment. Yeah. And get this, 2 of them that I can't even remember if I really have met them. It was more than a year ago, back in March, when it was 2 of them were dear friends who of Jennifer Hahn. It turns out those were the couple who protected this young baby boy, and those 2 were good friends of Jennifer Hahn. And even if I don't even remember if I have met them or not, now I know. And I don't remember if I met them.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll remember them even if you've never met them. So thanks for doing your thing, man. We have a couple more performers.
Okay.
So,
hold on. I need to hold on. Just find me on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah.
Find me on Twitter and Instagram, and find Dan the Bands Weekly on YouTube, and especially find Dan the Bands Weekly on Facebook. And I'm less than a month away for my 6-year anniversary. So guys, do not want to miss it. And most importantly, our thoughts and prayers goes out to the friends and family of the 23. As the anniversary nears, and we'll never forget this year's. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful night. All right. Back to you, Richie.
Back to me. All right. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very important stuff. Next Monday will be a tough one, as we remember. We will have we'll still have an online mic, so definitely encourage you guys to take part. As I mentioned, our theme is going to be hidden worlds. But if you guys want to write about El Paso Strong or remembrance of the shooting or our victims, or anything kind of related to just calling out this hatred in the world that's causing incidents like this, then I encourage you guys to share that stuff. That's what this is for. This is a platform for you guys to get your thoughts out, for us to meet as a community. I know it is hard where we can't hang out as much as we were able to, but we're in this pandemic. We're here, we're online, we're meeting people from all over, and of course our peeps too from El Paso. So it's good to be here. Our next performer, it's her first time making it here to our open mic, has listened in a couple times, which is great. Big time supporter, but I always like to hear her work. Do you want me to play you in as well? I can come up with a theme. No, I'm just kidding. We have Patty in the house. She's going to share some of her writing. So let's go ahead and get you on here. Welcome, Patty.
Okay, you can hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay, I have 3 little pieces, super short, and then I'll just kind of go through them. I haven't practiced reading in a really long time, so if I mess up, I'm so sorry.
Yo, just be you. Go so hard that even if you mess up, we're like, damn, I wish I messed up that good.
I used to say that now, but wait. Okay, this is the first one. I'd rather live in this one single moment in your arms than to have never known what love really is. If you told me we couldn't see the passive division of tomorrow, I'd let the curve of your lips tickle the skin on mine. If today was the last day I would hear the sound of your voice, I would ask you to whisper to me those 3 little words. I'd rather be in your hold for this one single moment than to have an entire life without you. If I knew how to hold on to the arm of the clock and keep it from moving, I'd never let go, if that meant one more moment with you. How could I always feel like I'm falling when you deeply cement me to the ground? And yet, I still don't believe in fairy tales. I'm not the princess in the castle. The wrinkles of my dress tell you the stories of where I've been. The mud on my shoes, they don't even tell you how many miles I walked. And yet somehow, you know exactly who I am. And that's the first one. Okay, this is the second one. Simply put, I'm a mess. A closet overstuffed, a drawer left unfolded, a sentence missing all its punctuation, a dancing fool without the music playing. Simply put, I'm only breathing, waiting for the moments that shake the floor beneath me, stepping on the stones that someone else left unturned, hearing stories in the midst of darkness. Simply put, I'm a traveler. The land I live in is still unknown. The map in my hands has no arrows. The skies above share no rhythm of the clouds moving. Simply put, I'm living. A life that's all my own. A complete disaster, a complete fiasco. A life that brings me to tears, one that makes my heart flutter, one that makes me reach for a beer, one that makes me pour a dark, deep red glass of wine. A life I curse, a life I bless. One that I adore and one that I wish away at times. I frame the moments I've desired, I slept away the pain. Simply put, this is my journey. A hurdle of obstacles I am to jump, a soft pile of leaves to rest my head, a broken picture frame, and a golden locket on my neck. Can I tell you any more? Simply put, I'm living. And that's the second one. Okay, and last one, and then I'm done. Super short. Tell me how the tickling of the clock boils the blood in my veins. I can feel the torrents of the wind trying to collapse the walls that smother me. The whispers of the floorboards won't hush their secrets much longer. Why must the flickering of the ball be the only source of light? Ticking, tick, tock. How do you not hear my shrieks as the arms of the chair engulf my soul? The colors of the surface are melting, creating puddles by my cemented feet. Is the air thinning as my lungs cave within their cavity? Won't the ticking stop? Tick, tock. I hesitate to utter any sound from my lips. How do you not see the shadows prance away the safety that once lived? If I beg the truth that my mind speaks, will the foundation I crawl on come tumbling to the ground? That's it.
Yeah, I love it. I love the thumbs up ending. Like, oh yeah. You better, once we get back to regular open mics, you better keep that as your signature. Like, I'm done.
Yeah, I
Thumbs
literally just
up.
walk off the stage half the time. I literally just like, I'm done, and then I walk out. So.
you don't even pay your tab. You just walk out.
Yeah, I just walk out.
Later.
I freak and then I walk out.
Yeah, good pieces. I'm really happy that you're able to join us today. I know that you've kind of been peeking in from time to time. It's all the way back to the beginning when you're doing this. So I'm really happy that you're able to share. If you read the comments, you see a lot of praise, which is well deserved. Don't be so unapologetic, just like Buddy Bolden inventing jazz. Just do it. So really quick, where can people connect with you and your poetry?
Preferably on Instagram. I kind of wrote it down, nerd, but this is hold up.
There you go.
Okay, it's Patty's Poetic Life, and if you want to follow me, then it's on there.
Pretty cool. Thank you, Patty. Thanks for joining us. All right. So we are going to continue. We have a couple more performers. We're going to stick with you. It's been a really, really fun show, guys. Joining us from Denver and the Spokane Broken Mic. That's where we met you last time. We have Michael Sindler in the house. Michael, are you still here with us? Yeah, there you are. I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Dan and Amit, man, I really feel you and everybody else pain. It's like right over here, I got Columbine, right over there, the AMC. Denver's felt its share of pain, and I just want you to know I feel for y'all in that too. I know what that's like. That being said, I didn't really know what I was going to do until I was sitting here watching Donna's roommates and went, oh man, I got to do this one. So this is called Queen Bitch in the Shop of Dreams. A dog that fat just has to be loved. Wobbling on its puny legs, splayed to contain its bulk, it wanders up and down the center aisle, grunting and snorting and growling when a human approaches. It recognizes itself as ruler of its domain, making that plain to all that enter. Glancing from the back between its legs, below its tail, I deduce it's a female. Queen of the store, it's human on a stool, the only one that she adores. All the others are interlopers, disturbing sleep or precious gnaw and drool sessions, intruding on the intimacy of belly scratches demanded and received from her bemused human slave. They relieve an itch or lightly tickle, making the queen bitch roll and wiggle on her blanket bedding. Her stump of a tail can only twitch as she displays acceptance of the gift her smiling human dispenses. Stubby legs akimbo, she rolls side to side on her back, stopping to lift her head and look threateningly at any strays, the humans thumbing through displays and shelves and drawers of what elsewhere would be called junk. But within these doors, there are treasures, occasionally sold to wandering, intrepid souls like me, folk with nothing better to do for a while to do, but peruse others' cast-offs under the watchful eyes of the old man on the stool. He sits, ready to relieve a fool of cash or for a well-worn piece of furniture or kitchen gear, or a yellowed book or figurine that once on some table or in some nook took pride of place. Now scratched and chipped inside a case with price tag peeling off, it looks blindly out, begging for pity. A new home, it pleads. I cost but pennies and will be faithful. I'm cheery, sweet, and graceful, but is, in fact, dusty, sad, and dreary. The queen bitch snores, then wakes and shakes her footstool-like frame, looks warily at me again. Don't get too close, she gets kind of snappy, the stool steward warns. Don't we all, I opine? We both crack half a grin apiece. The queen ignores the insult and the understanding. She gnaws on a rubber bone that may once have squeaked, but now is mute. Her pudgy forelocks pin her conquest down as new tooth marks join 1,000 others. I flip through old record covers with one eye on her floor show until I've seen enough, then it's time to go. Back out on the street, the memory still fresh of the pooch, the queen, offers something to reflect on as rush hour traffic moves down Colfax towards homes overstuffed with trinkets that will in time turn to junk. With a little luck, they might end up in the queen bitch's store to wait for another home, transported, transposed, treasures once again, sold for spare change by the man who rests upon his seat inside the store the queen bitch rules. The sign declares secondhand, but it's really quite a wonderland of memory and expectation, of serendipity and transformation. Somehow it seems a time machine turning lost past to future dreams, but to the queen it's just a home, and she wishes only to be left alone. Sorry, queen, to disturb your cluttered life. I thank you for the diversion at a moment when there was nothing better I could do than share this shop of dreams with you. Okay, and
Yeah.
go in a little different direction here. This one's called John Wayne's Grave. Starts with a quote. I don't feel we did wrong in taking this great country away from them, if that's what you're asking. Our so-called stealing of this country from them was just a matter of survival. There were great numbers of people who needed new land, and the Indians were selfishly trying to keep it for themselves. John Wayne, Playboy magazine interview, May 1971. The grave in which John Wayne resides was stolen from a native tribe, Lizano, Kahila, Cupino, Kumwaiai, and northern Guiano were there before the whites arrived and stole their land, their faith, their lives. Chanting praises to Sainted Domingo, the Spanish said, convert or go. The American Treaty of 1848 should, in theory, have improved the state of lives for the indigenous, but promises were less solid than dust. The pledge to protect Indian land rights was broken almost overnight. By 1852, all pretense abandoned, natives were pushed into deserts and canyons. These became the reservations filled beyond overpopulation, where smallpox and other diseases ran amok and fatalities increased. In 1907, Marion Mitchell Morrison, later to be known as John Wayne, was born in the Iowa town of Winterset, to the Indians' lasting regret. For when as an adult, the films he made, the worst stereotypes were portrayed: drunk, bloodthirsty, lying in wait for pioneers, subjects of audiences' hate. This is how the first people were seen, denying the whites their American dream. He was the standard by whom men were measured. He should instead have been tarred and feathered. Thank you. And real quick, I'm just going to say, I wasn't going to do this. I don't usually do it, but seeing how everybody's doing, doing somebody else's work, I'm going to go ahead and do one just because I love this piece so much. It's by Laurie Anderson, the great Laurie Anderson. It's called The Dream Before. Hansel and Gretel are alive and well, and they're living in Berlin. She's a cocktail waitress. He had a part in a Fassbinder film. And they sit around at night now, drinking schnapps and gin. And he says, and she says, Hansel, you're really bringing me down. And he says, Gretel, you can really be a bitch. And he says, I've wasted my life on our stupid legend when my one and only love was the Wicked Witch. And she said, what is history? And he said, history is an angel being blown backwards into the future. He said, history is a pile of debris, and the angel wants to go back and fix things, to repair the things that have been broken. But there is a storm blowing from paradise, and the storm keeps blowing the angel backwards into the future. And this storm is called progress. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome, man. I love that piece.
That was nice.
Cool. Michael, is that your art behind you? A lot of people were asking and pointing it out.
Yeah.
Cool. So is there a place where you post your poems or where we can support your art?
I mean, I have some stuff here and there. I should be good and have it, but maybe next time I'll hook some links in. But yeah, I keep pretty low profile as far as anything.
Right on. Hey, well, thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. Good having you. Join us next Monday if you have the time. And will you be there on Wednesday at the Broken Mic?
I'm gonna try and do that. Yeah, I try and do this one. Come over after the New Yo. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to try and make that too. So Michael Sindler, yes, I'm glad you got on today. I know you were here last week, but like the list was long, and you're like, oh, I'll see you next week. So it happened.
Okay.
Yeah, we have another first timer here. I want to see he's still with us. We have Tom. Is Tom with
Right
us?
Right here. Can you see?
Let's see. There you are. Awesome, man. So where are you joining us from?
Austin, Texas, of course. Land of the massacre of the peace demonstrators.
Oh, wow. All right, go for it. Take it away. What do you have for us today? Paul?
5 shots rang out, 2 shooters released by APD. It had been a 4 Zoom day. So poetry, music, stories, and joy filled all the virtual world. But on the streets of Boston, another Black Lives Matter demonstration outside APD Central on 8th Street. Curling around the corner of 4th and Congress, 5 shots rang out, 1 soul taken from us, others running away filming for video on Facebook. Portlandia was supposed to be the front line, with grandmother wisdom and naked Athena, bubbles in the air against the military police state apparatus. But now peace was shot down on the streets of Austin, and all our poems and prayers and peaceful petitions were cast aside as violence does not listen. Defund the APD is still our call, but now it's to be seen if APD will catch these killers at all, or if we need a peace force, not a police force, to make sure that freedom of assembly is never brown-shirted down by those whose only speech is the barking gun. When poetry can only zoom in after the event like an ambulance to soothe and heal and anneal the damage in trust that peaceful poetical example might solve and salve our village future. Seattle understands this. Portland does too. Non-lethal weapons trained upon the peaceful like you can be deflected by umbrellas, true. And leaf blowers can move away that tear gas thrown towards the young and the restless. Of course, grandmothers for peace. Of course, veterans for peace. And the weapons of personal defense so different to the munitions of the militarized. This war is ongoing on us. Tactics and tools must change, but yellow umbrellas from Hong Kong and leaf blowers from Lowe's will defend the young and the brave all life long. In Portland, with only face mask and beanie on, she stood naked in front of Portland police, with their tear gas, their truncheons, and militarized might. She stood naked in the street, calm and secure. She faced them down, and they were faced down. Naked Athena, anonymous, vulnerable, her openness and bravery, example to every warlord, militarized police force whose violence so contrasted with her peace. If all of us were naked, what weapons will we need? Sheila and our gig on Portland streets, million musicians march during South by Southwest in Austin, Minor Mischief Marching Band at all Tilt festivals again, buskers, bards and bands at Lady Bird Lake Festival. Festivals dedicated to lonesome hobos by the side of Amtrak, wheelchair gatherings for the differently able, drum circles, free speech platforms in parks, sculpture parks, art and libraries and coffee shops, original music and poetry on community radio and TV, murals on every building in Austin, sculptures everywhere. All of these are one grain of sand on the beach of your cultural activism. Waves come in, wash us away. A new wave of cultural atavists succeed today in the intrinsic joy of being. Is that not a peaceful beginning? So farewell, Aunt Jemima. Goodbye, Uncle Ben. Hasta la vista, Mrs. Butterworth. Bye-bye, Eskimo pie and Redskins. And that Native American woman from Land of Lakes and caged animals from Animal Crackers. Etymology becomes linguistic history when values change in our communities. And there goes Trader Ming, Trader San Jose, Trader Giotto, and Arabian Joe's labeling as embedded racism when stereotypes are utilized when perpetuating exoticism of other cultures, and we are advancing slowly towards equality. There are role models awaiting pride in products on your shelf. Every city has an MLK. Why not a Harlem Renaissance Day? Langston Hughes Avenues, indigenous teepees and canoes. Name every tribe on your menu. Future cop is taking a knee versus tasering. Good cop versus bad cop. Beverly Hills cop versus bad lieutenant. 4 dead in Ohio versus 3 injured in Austin. Law is for protection of the people. Lone Ranger, Pinkertons, Texas Rangers, Terminators, Private Eyes, Sam Spade, Ellery Queen, chemical weapons discharged upon the youth. Military culture pushing over a 75-year-old elder. Driving while black, incarcerated in private prisons, KKK police officers, Serpico versus police union, chokeholds banned after too many deaths, police accountability by attorneys general, disarm, defund, demilitarize, peace. Police, every apple has blemishes, rotted to the core. No summary execution is allowed anymore. counselors, resolution processes, police records publicly available, transparency, accountability, trusting their community representatives to be wiser than weapons of war wielded wildly upon the innocent children of our future. Go West, young man. People say I'm crazy, but the world is crazy, said Kanye West, cobbling together a God-based presidential platform like Elmer Gentry. In a world ruled by rich white men, Kanye represents a rich Black perspective. He wants to give $1 million to every mother who has a child. He speaks suited up in body armor with bodyguards surrounding him. It is as if he thinks sound bites will secure his electoral salvation. People see him as a spoiler for a Democratic victory. If he were to trade his charisma for petitioners, then votes, all is possible. Pop stars for presidents, it happened with Ronald Reagan. Whatever madness happened before, it can surely happen again. Learn from your history before we become victims once again. I remember screaming Lord Such and his monster raving loony party in 1983. I look at Kanye West and start to believe in reincarnation today. It's easy. But what are we going to do now? What we have to release is all buffets, some bars, eating out en masse, gatherings, concerts, sports, large audiences, nostalgia for a simpler world pre-COVID practices, cinema attendances, festivals, futurisms, all expectations, optimism, blind trust, continuity. We can carry each other, quarantined, socially distanced, masked with hand sanitizer, into today, shell shock with PTSD, ADHD, carrying our emotions in a recycled bag, which we will wash after every use. So tomorrow will find us connected and connecting, sans any effective leaders, just loving each other with respect, reverence, equality, as it was in the beginning and shall be again.
Wow, Tom.
My first haiku.
Fuck yes, time. My first haiku. Tom, you're
Love it.
amazing. You're
We're
amazing.
all amazing.
Please come back. Please come back. You're amazing.
Please do. Yeah.
Man, you are the man, bro. I
we
so
all-
appreciate you.
Thanks for doing this.
He takes care of me when I go to Austin. He's very amazing.
Oh, right on. Yeah, Philip. We got you next, actually. So really quick before we go on, Tom, do you have any places that we can follow to?
I live on Facebook, Austin Atmosphere, Austin Poets Association, Poetry Community, Corroboree, 1,000 spaces where we gather in circles because it's safer to be together in a world of madness.
Right on. I agree. Glad to have you. And if you can, maybe you can post those on in the chat.
Oh
so
yeah,
we can
sure.
share. Absolutely cool. And I guess Philip, you spoke so highly of Tom, and thanks again for inviting. We have Philip in the house from joining us from Denver.
No, I'm in Colorado Springs.
Oh, Colorado Springs. My bad. I remembered Colorado.
Close enough, man.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah,
I remember.
You gotta come up, man. Spring sucks, man.
Colorado Springs. I remember we got in the convo last week about the Yankee Mets caps, but looks like baseball season might be ending. Who knows?
I know.
But you got a little something you want to spit with us today?
Yeah. Usually when I spit, I just spit. I don't talk. But this is a different. It's a little different on here, so I'll talk a little bit. I'm gonna do a lot of times on these open mics. I do a couple haikus, then I do a piece. I'm gonna give a shout out to Kit because Kit taught me something last week, where he says it was a good balance. I just did it to do it, but he said it was a good balance how I did serious and funny haiku, and so I'm gonna take that and run with it as I present haikus when I'm not, the only competition I will ever do is a haiku competition. I will never compete any other way. But hey, I listened to that, so thank you, Kit. That's what's up. So I'm gonna do 4 haikus, and then I guess I gotta do a cover because that's what everybody's doing tonight, right? And then I'll do a piece. Do without thinking. Child pushes nothing on plate. We toss leftovers. We are afraid of thing on the wing of a plane. frequent flyer miles. Oh, say, can you see what the Army did to me? Post-traumatic stress.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see. Heel, oops, hold on a second. Heels are what she wears. My eyes glance at her cleavage. They are her best pair. And I'll do a cover of Langston Hughes. Since Tom, he mentioned Langston Hughes, I got to cover Langston real quick. Let me think. Life is fine. I went down by the river. I sat down by the bank. I tried to think, but I couldn't, so I jumped in and sank. I stood there and I hollered. I stood there and I cried. If it had been, oh shoot, I forgot it. I'm sorry. Remix. I'm not gonna, hold on. Nah, I'll do Langston next time.
I was like, damn, you're gonna spit from memory?
Oh no, the only thing about Zoom is sitting down. Ugh, crap, that bothers me. I'll do Langston another time. I'll do a piece, one of my own pieces. What if? What if you were eyewitness to history, born in the 18th century into this tight-fit black skin onesie, booked on a sailing ship without a Royal Caribbean affiliate, a trip that offered complimentary beatings for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, chained neck to ankle food rationed into small portions, feces and urine for you sleeping. Have I captured your attention? Welcome to America, land of the free, as long as you don't have skin like me, where a grown man is still called a boy and put on the auction block. And his wife is pushing and breathing and pushing until out come a child that isn't his, master's green-eyed son that's raised in the main house by a white woman by the name of Liz. What if you were like me, born in the 1960s, where signs on doors still read white only, and peaceful protests sparked movements, and Black folks was arrested for disturbing the peace simply because they wanted to buy something to eat, but could be forced to fight for country, yet the fight for equal rights was still incomplete, since many believed that we could only be good at picking up after others and sports. But could it be a possibility that I could run further and faster than you because Bloody Sunday dogs and fire hose were let loose? What if you took my skin, put it over your face? Could you live the life that my forefathers did? What if you were the parents of Trayvon Martin, Eric Garland, John Crawford, or Sandra Bland, where those that murdered them were given pardon? What if all lives mattered way back when with Kunta Kinte and them? The same way they try to convince us that all lives matter today. Then again, maybe all lives do matter when Black lives are excluded. What if? What if? What if?
Yeah, man. What if?
Damn, you the man. You the man.
Thank you again, Kit, for that.
Great suggestion, right? So where can we follow you online?
My website, there's a theme here. My website is midnightpoet00.com. My IG is midnightpoet00. My Cash App is midnightpoet00. There's a theme.
All right, man.
Remember one, you remember them all.
Midnight Poet 00. There you go. Thank you, man. Always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us again this week. As far as list goes, that's it. In fact, we went a little overtime today, which is great because we had so many talented people take the mic. I'm going to share one piece that I wrote. It's newer. I wrote it a week ago.
Is it on the flute?
New shit.
There you go. New shit. I'll bring out the flute next week. I was explaining that I do this thing where I loop I have a looper, and then I incorporate this. I'm gonna use it. But today, so last week at the New Rican Monday Night Open Mic, which is poetry specific, they always have a weekly theme. Last week it was the theme of first kiss. So I'm like, oh, I've got to write about this. I always like to dive a little bit into the romantic side of things, because when I first started kind of getting interested in poetry, I was a freshman in high school, and I had there was a poetry club that I was attending, and this girl I met, the whole year we had become friends and gotten really close, and at the end of that year, it turned out she was moving to Hawaii, very, very far away. And that was heartbreaking. And, I just felt the connection. And so as a gift, I gave her all the poems and sketches I did that year, which is some of the first stuff I've ever read or written. I just gave it to her. I did that cliche thing where I went to the airport when they were leaving. I did that.
You're amazing.
And she ended up being a really, really good friend. But that's the part that kind of awakened the fire in me of art and communication. So yeah, the prompt was first kiss, and I was listening to Louis Armstrong's Kiss of Fire, which is based off of Argentinian tango, El Choclo. And so I was listening to the opening lyrics, and that's kind of the first stanza of this, are the lyrics. And I wanted to explore the inner world of that kiss. And now using that as a lens into probably the most intense relationship I've ever had. Didn't work out. That's fine. That happens. But anyway, this is called Kiss of Fire. I touch your lips, and all at once the sparks go flying. Those devil lips that know so well the art of lying. And though I see the danger, still the flames grow higher. I know I must surrender to your kiss of fire. I remember rooms strewn with strangers, adorned with the weight of wandering eyes, yearning for that chance to linger, to feast on that quiet desperation, to catch another's fishhook, high wire, kerosene-soaked life preserver of a glance, for just a chance in this moment, where we are the only two people in existence, burning hot quasars on the peripheries of somethingness, caught in a dance with nothingness, a cosmic tango over the melody of cascading trumpet battle cries. It's the ever-expanding pool of the universe seeking to know itself. You see, we are a feather and a bowling ball falling side by side in the vacuum of maybe, perhaps, not today. Count us the everyday explorers of the could-have-beens and sidewinded sing-alongs of the long gone and since then rescinded. Call us the heavy-winded. Eternity, living, breathing, dying, and being reborn all over again. Eternity lived out in moments like this one, in which our eyes meet like high beams in the seclusion of a pre-dawn southwestern desert highway, doomed for a head-on collision of you and me, the taste of a cotton candy sunrise, and the sizzle of a new day. All right, that's all I got for that one.
Yeah.
Sounded like some bacon at the end.
Some sizzle, man. So yeah, that was my first kiss poem based on last week's theme. But I'm gonna write something for Failing Forward, and as I mentioned, I encourage you guys, if you want to write new content, we do have like a whole list of things that you guys can choose from up 2019 November. We started doing themes. I'll post them on our social media. Yeah, so Failing Forward was these last 2 weeks. Just because we're ending it doesn't mean you don't have to you can still write about it and share it at one of our open mics. Next week, we're going to start the new one, which is Hidden Worlds, which is kind of what I explored in that poem as well, right? The hidden world of that kind of kiss. But as far as open mic goes, I really appreciate everyone who joined today, everyone who joined us on the live stream. You guys are beautiful people. Thanks for everyone who was commenting. Sandy is like the MVP all the time. I'm looking. Dr. A, I don't know if I gave him a shout out at all. Dr. A didn't read today, but he was listening, watching the whole time, leaving some very funny comments. Yeah, so many people to thank on the chat as I look back. But we'll be back next week, guys. If you guys want to unmute, let's go ahead and give a round of applause to everyone who performed today.
Stick around for the after party.
That's right. That's right. So we're going to continue. We're going to end the live stream. I'm not going to end the entire stream. I've done that before. So I'm going to be careful not to do that again because I've done that before. But everyone on YouTube, thank you guys. We'll see you next time. Peace. Okay.